there. Come on.
Hey Kinfolk, so I just ran out of time for the day. I just was doing basic things today to try and get it ready for finishing, and finishing always takes a while because you always want to get into the details, and a lot of the details sell the product, and that's what I'm trying to do, make this thing look really good. And yeah, so I'm going to show you real quick what I got done and what I still have yet to do. So let me give you a quick tour. Okay, so I just added some scratches and some with that center block piece, and I also poorly sanded it so I can get some splotchy kind of tan marks onto the wood, and I also poorly sanded the edge up here to just make it look like it's seen some days when it hasn't seen at all yet. And also just rounding off any corners here, so when somebody rubs their hand across it, they're not going to get any splinters, or they're not going to cut their hand at all. And so yeah, that's a lot of what happens today, and especially during finishing you want to get those edges nice and rounded over, just to make sure that you don't get those, you know, they don't break off either, you know, so it's nice and round. it'll last longer and people won't hurt themselves on it. Now this groove is a little hard to see even from standing upright, but this groove here is going to be able to accept a lot more of the oil, and it'll show up as a kind of like a brown line where the planks will be joined, so it'll look a little bit more legit as far as like an old world wagon. Okay, so that's a tour as of right now. So we still have a lot more to do on the wheels. So that's going to be the primary thing that we're going to be working on tomorrow. We're going to get those ready. We're going to put those grooves in, and we're going to reinforce the rims because I'm starting to get rocks in the edges here, and it's starting to bust apart, and you know, that wheel's not going to last. And the investment we put into the wood is going to go down the drains unless we reinforce it and make sure that they last. So tomorrow's going to be a big day. Going to hit it hard and hit it early. So all right, kinfolk, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey Kinfolk, so today was a long day. Got the wheels all ready and reinforced, got the banding on, got the nails in. I got it sealed up and we're ready to rock and roll. It's just a dirty, dusty day and it's over. So let me give you a little tour of what we've accomplished and what we still have yet to do. So yeah. Alright, so we got the wheels on. We got the grooves cut into it. So the banding here, so this nail here is just like that. It's a little corkscrew nail for decking, and once these are in, they're not coming out, and you have to essentially cut them out. And nails are really good for shearing force, and that's exactly what kind of force this is going to be facing every single time. There's not going to be a whole lot of pulling force. It's always going to be shearing. The other thing I did was I drove it in at an angle, so that was primarily to try and cinch up and tighten it down to the wheel itself. And as I pounded in, it just pulled it tighter, so I had less gaps on the side. Okay, so I tried to get this as cinched up as possible, but there are still gaps, and I'm not really sure how to fix that. But eventually I'm going to figure it out. So far, nobody's really gotten their fingers cut at all on this, and the canvas hasn't been cut at all by this, so I could just be overreacting, but I'd like to be able to take care of it. But I drilled the holes 6 inches apart, and I think if I went 3 inches apart, that wouldn't be as much of an issue. It would cinch down a little bit more and wouldn't be as much. I can still do that, but it'd be a lot more difficult with a hand drill versus a drill press. But this is where we're at, and if I were to do it different, I'd probably do it every 3 inches, because I got plenty of nails, and it really didn't take long to just put one extra hole in. Okay, so now we've got it all sanded up, and we had put all sorts of scratches and things like that. We added some linseed oil, and I put 2 heavy coats on it. I want to do 3, but getting close to the event, I didn't want to have an overwhelming smell of linseed oil while I was sleeping in this, while I was driving in the van with it. So it is what it is, and it looks pretty good. Adding linseed oil adds a nice little luster to it, and it definitely highlights things that you want, and it just makes the whole thing pop. and it's very inexpensive oil. It's a very inexpensive sealant, and it really, I think it works extremely well. So let me know down in the comments if you disagree. So when you put your linseed on, I've made sure to wipe this off. Any like 15-20 minutes you want to wait for the linseed oil to dry and get soaked up into the wood. And anything left on the surface, you got to wipe up with this. And this ultimately would have ended up on somebody's skin or their clothes, staining not so much the skin, but yeah, either way you want to wipe that up, and that's what I did, just to make sure that it also, any extra you can rub it, push back into the wood and filling in into any scratches or imperfections that you want to highlight. So yeah, there you go. Well, that's it for today, Kinfolk. It was all about the wheels and the oil and getting that all situated. We still have a lot more to go. We got to get a frame and a canopy over that frame and zippers on that canopy to close it up and that and whatnot, and got to come up with a solution for that. So we have a lot more left to do. I'm just gonna unwind with some cinnamon tea and think about what I've got to do next. And if you guys have found this episode helpful or entertaining in any way, then you guys owe me a coffee. And if you guys want to support me in a long-term situation, then consider being a part of my Patreon team. And of course, you can always go to my Etsy shop, and any and all purchases made there will go towards the channel and helping improve the channel. So check out these links over here and just make sure, and the links are down in the description, but I'm just going to put the icons over here so you know that these things are available. And any and all help that you could send my way would be much appreciated, even if it's just a like, sub, and share. All of that stuff helps. Even in your small part, it really does help go a long way. And ultimately, the more that you can do to help me, the more stuff I can do like this and make bigger and better projects. So that's all I got for you today, nerds. I'm going to send you home with a be humble, be helpful, and be honorable. Thanks for watching.